This is a one-to-one interview with the former young mayor of Lewisham, Chiesa. I'm Joseph, and I'll ask you questions on how the media represented black males during the riots. The first question is a quote taken from the Daily Mail newspaper. It's a quote by historian David Starkey, and he says, "White chavs has become black." Is basically, what do you think of this quote and what are your feelings about it?
Yeah, I'm not too sure about white chavs becoming black because they're white chavs, if he wants to label them that. At the end of the day, we're all people. We just happen to have different skin colors, different histories, different cultural backgrounds. I don't really know the basis of what made him say that comment. He calls himself a historian, but from what I've heard of him, like on BBC, and even just from that quote you just pointed out to me, he doesn't sound like someone that should take too seriously in terms of what he thinks of culture at all, because he seems really detached from it.
Okay, thank you very much. The next question is, the London riots and the perception of black males go hand in hand. This is a headline of an online blog called The Legal Conspiracy. Do you believe this is true, and if so, why?
Perceptions of black males and the London riots. I don't know. Personally, I do think that black males have been blamed for a lot of the London riots. Young people in general, and people do like to target different audiences. Or different groups of people, which I don't think is fair. At the end of the day, when the riots were happening, I actually witnessed them firsthand, and I saw all kinds of people doing them. If the riots are going to start in places where it's mostly populated with black people, then you would expect more black people to be doing them proportionally, to be looting proportionally in that area anyway. I don't think it's fair just to label it as, a black people thing. Aside from that, I just think that people need to think they need to not marginalize their thoughts and their perceptions of people and actually look deeper into the causes rather than opening their mouths so quickly up on the situation. Otherwise, it can just lead to you sounding like you don't know what you're talking about. And to be honest, I don't think most people do know what they're talking about. They just talk out of emotion and what they think they saw rather than getting to the root cause of the problem. So yeah, I don't think it's a black thing, it's a people thing. I saw old ladies looting, I saw older men looting, I saw people taking their children out, saw white, black, Asian, Chinese, everything.
Okay, thank you very much. The next question is taken from the same online blog, and there's a statement in that article which says there are no proportion of ethnic minority journalists in mainstream media, meaning the representation of young black men is often fueled by gaps in knowledge and stereotypes. What are your feelings towards the statement in the article, and do you believe this is true?
Yeah, I think that that person has a point. I see more white news anchors and Asian news anchors than I see any other ethnic minority background at all. And obviously that will subconsciously cause some sort of reaction to people seeing that, especially young black boys and girls growing up. I think that the role models that are in the black community at the moment, the good ones, are not being highlighted or promoted or shown to young black people as much as they should at the moment, and that's what makes people think that certain things are out of reach. Some people, like a lot of the people who are looting and rioting, I think some of them thought there isn't much hope for my future. I can't get a job. I'm struggling to even work in JD, let alone get on BBC News and anchor the article or the news that they're giving me to do. So yeah, I think that is a valid point.
Okay, thank you very much. The next question I have on the agenda is, we've obviously seen your views on how black men are being presented, black males and black youths especially, when presented in media nowadays. How do you think the perception of black males can be changed if you believe that they're being presented in a negative way?
I think the perception of black males can improve when we, as a black community, take responsibility for the young people or each other in our community. People were out there looting trainers, televisions, bags of rice, but I didn't hear of anyone looting books to read. Libraries are closing all over the place, and people seem much less bothered about that than when their local JD Sports closes, and that's an issue. There's a reason why people are choosing to be more materialistic rather than educating themselves and picking up a book and reading, and people aren't really being told or educated on how furthering yourself, widening your vocabulary, broadening your knowledge is really important. And that's what I think that that's one of the things I think will help change the perception of young black males. You know, people showing us that there's bigger things out there to life than, you know, what the media puts out there. At the moment, I think the media is stronger than the government because they control what we think, they control what we see, they control what affects our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Whereas we need to be able to say, especially to our younger brothers, sisters, you know, our peers, you know, we need to educate ourselves and look at what's really happening to us and how we can change it. I think only then when we start making collective efforts, will we really start seeing, you know, big changes.
So basically what you're trying to say is that the mentality of us young black males, first of all, needs to be changed in terms of if the perception of young black males in the media will be changed.
Yeah.
Okay. Next and lastly is a fact I discovered. Actually, 61% from an online blog felt that the images of rioters and looters in the media mainly singled out black males. Do you think this percentage is too small, or more people should feel the same way that the media singled out black males? And how does this fact make you feel?
That 61% is based on what the media showing, you said?
61% from that took part in an online blog.
Yeah, thought that the media singled out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate, to be honest. I remember watching Our Crime on BBC Three. Obviously, they've been doing a series on, you know, different crimes that have been committed. And when it came to the riots, yeah, a lot of the people I did see on there, you know, were black males or sounded like black males that were involved in it. And a lot of the people who I think I've seen go down for it were also black males. So I don't think that's an unfair statement based on, you know, just what I can recollect of the whole situation from the riots. Not to say that the 61% is an accurate representation of the amount of black males involved in it or black people involved in it, but in terms of what being singled out, I could say I couldn't really disagree with that.
Okay, thank you very much. This was a one-to-one interview with the former young mayor of Lewisham, Chiesa, and myself, Joseph Wallace. Thanks.